Okay, so after discussing the listening module and after listening to the parts that we have to listen, now I think we have to start something new, which is reading. Now, it is the same of listening, Joel. In reading, we have four passages or four parts. We have part A or text A, text B, text C, and text D. Absolutely, we have 1 hour just to finish solving all the questions in the reading module. So let me scroll down to the reading section and let's begin this new module, which is reading. As usual, I have to discuss the strategies, tips first, and then absolutely we will practice the four parts or the four passages. Okay, let me zoom in and let's start discussing the reading module. I think, where is my pen? Let me open my pen. Let me connect my laptop to charging because I'm afraid to be disconnected. Okay, so now the OET reading test consists of 3 separate parts with a total of 42 questions and tasks that absolutely it takes 1 hour to complete. Approximately, it's the same of the IELTS exam because we have 1 hour to solve 40 questions in the reading section. But in the IELTS exam, we have 3 parts, and absolutely the final part is the longest and the hardest. And I think that it's the same here with the OET reading test. Okay. So the 3 parts of the reading test are described, all of them described below. So let's describe all the parts of the reading section. Now, in part A of the reading test contains 4 texts on the same topic. Absolutely, it's about medical workplace might use in the course of their work. You will have 15 minutes only to answer 20 questions. So this is the first thing that you have to be careful of. You have to practice and you have to know how to time, how to divide your time, because as we noticed that we have only 15 minutes to answer 20 questions and we have to read 4 texts in part A. So, which cover a variety of question types about the information in the 4 texts. Now, part B of the reading test contains 6 extracts from the workplace communications in a healthcare setting, and you should aim to spend 10 minutes on this part. So 15 minutes on part A, 10 minutes on part B. We have 4 texts in part B, in part A, and 6 extracts in part B. Now, part C of the reading test contains 2 long passages. These passages are going to be the longest, providing information on different, absolutely all the texts are going to be about medical workplace, and we have 8 questions for each one. You should aim to spend roughly 35 minutes on this section because, as I told you, it is the longest. So absolutely, you have to spend more time on solving the questions on part C. So this is it. We notice that it's the same of listening. The 3 parts in listening, A, B, C, and the 3 parts in reading, A, B, C. But we notice that in A, we have 4 passages. We have passage A, passage B, passage C, and passage D. Okay. Now, what are the strategies I have to be careful or keep in mind while solving the reading module? Unlike the listening test, where in the listening test, you must keep pace with the recording just to avoid falling behind or maybe losing the speaker. Now you pace yourself in the reading test. You should time yourself. This is extremely important. You don't have all the day long. You are not free just to take all the time just to solve the three parts. Be careful while you attempt the questions within this chapter. So we have to be familiar with the passages. We have to be familiar with the questions because just to do so, absolutely, you will save your time and you will not lose your time in trying to understand the questions or figuring out the passages or something like that. Okay. Now, let me try to read the most important information. Identify, cause, struggle, answer similar questions. Okay, look out for the information question, help you locate the information in the text. We are going to discuss that, absolutely. Okay. Now, this is reading in part A because we have to start part A and we will try to finish discussing part A today. So we have to scan 4 texts to locate the information needed. We have to read the sections of the 4 texts to find detailed meaning, and we have to practice these strategies to answer, matching the information, completing the sentence, and completing or answering by writing a short answer. So these are the questions or the tasks or the types of questions you will have in part A. So this is it. I'm not going. Keep in mind that we have 4 texts in part A. We have text A, text B, text C, and text D. Okay. Now, we should make sure that we have to be familiar with all the questions in part A just to make it easy again and just to save my time, just to be able to answer all the questions in 15 minutes only. Okay. 4 passages across the pages, examples, variety to find the workplace, including, okay, I'm not going to, okay. Let me try to read this thing. Now, the passages that we will have in part A, including at least one that presents visual, or maybe just like a table. So visual is just like a drawing, just like a diagram. Maybe the diagram is going to be a flow chart, maybe line chart, maybe table chart, or even pie chart, sometimes column chart. So there is going to be at least one that presents visual. You have to take a look at the drawing. Absolutely, you have to understand the drawing just to be able to answer the questions. And the other texts in part A will include information in paragraphs, and maybe you will have bullet points, lists. Some of the texts in this section will contain numbers maybe, but you are not required to make any calculations. Absolutely. You don't have to use calculator because this is not math. Okay, let me try to read fast just to be able to save our time. For example, one of the produce follows. Okay. Okay. Sometimes, Joel, some students, because they don't understand, for example, they don't fully understand the first passage, or maybe they are not able to solve the first part correctly, they feel worried because they feel that they cannot complete solving the questions. Please don't do that, because don't worry if at first the topic of the text are unfamiliar to you. While solving the questions, you will be more familiar about the topic, about the passage, and you will not need to have a prior knowledge of the specific condition, because maybe while practicing, or maybe you practiced too much topics, but the topic that you will encounter in the final exam will not be the same as you practiced before. So you have to be careful, because as I told you, while answering the questions, you will be more familiar with the topic, and you will have the full idea about the passage. Okay, now when you start solving part A, you should start by looking briefly at each of the 4 texts. Please, there is something you have to know, Joel, in reading. We have 2 skills we have to apply in reading module. We have scan and we have skim. These 2 skills are extremely important just to save your time and to answer the 42 questions in the final exam. If you want to ask me about the meaning of a skim is to read fast just to get the main idea of the passage. But the scan is, yes, you have to read fast, but you need to check specific information, specific ideas while answering a certain question. So please be careful, because these two skills are extremely important in reading, because as I told you, 80% of the students, they don't solve all the 42 questions in 1 hour. So you have to apply these two skills. Provided you should spend only a short period of time. Okay, absolutely. You have to know how to divide your time. Okay, I think now we have to practice. But before doing that, let's try to read the texts, but we have to do so briefly. So let's briefly look at the texts in this page, in the following pages, and let's answer the questions from 1 to 5. Okay, now the title of the passage, absolutely, I have to write the title. It's hypertension. So we have to read the title just to get the full idea. And now it's the time to read the passages. I'm going to show the passages, I mean the texts from A to D on my screen. And you have to read fast just to get the main idea. So please, because we are still practicing, take your time just to skim, as I told you, because we have some questions that are need to be solved.
Do you want me to read now?
Please, you have to skim and read fast.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, now this is text B. Let me zoom out just to be able to see the full passage. Okay, you can read text B. Wait. Yeah, I think this is better. I'm sorry, maybe it's a little small.
It's fine. Okay.
Okay, so let me scroll down to text C, but let me zoom in. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now this is text D. As I told you, this is a kind of a drawing. At least one of them is going to be a drawing. This is a table chart.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, so thank you so much. Now let me zoom in. I want to split my screen into two because we have some questions. And as I told you, these questions need to be solved. Now let's take a look at the first question, because the first question, as I told you, you have to skim. Now the first question is going to be about skimming and having the full idea about the passages, because you have to understand the passage just to be able to answer these questions. Let's go up to the questions that we have. This is question number, wait. Okay, it's up, I think, yes, it is. Exactly, these are not the passages. I have to scroll up, yes, this is it. Okay, now this is the first question. Let me zoom in and let's read the first question, and we have to search about the answer. Okay, now for each of the four texts, let's try to briefly summarize the information. Let's do that, Joel, text by text, one by one. Now let's start with A. Yeah, let me go up to text A. And now try to summarize briefly the information given in text A. If you have a piece of paper, please write your answer down.
Okay. I have a question.
Yes.
Should I write long
No,
answers?
summarize only one sentence, Joel.
Only one sentence, and I can say
uh,
in this paragraph.
yes,
Oh, no
in
need
text
to
A.
mention.
No need to mention. This is not one question in the final exam. Question is not existed. But just to tell you how to scan the text, Joel, I need to check if you really get the main idea about the passage. This is it. Okay? So only write one sentence to summarize. One sentence summary only.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now let me ask you, what did you write in one sentence summary?
I wrote text A presents the different categories of antihypertension medications.
Yeah. Okay. That's amazing. Now let me show you the correct answer. And I have to mention that in the passage, which is A. Okay, let me scroll down to the answers. Give me 1 second, please. Exactly. Please hurry up. I suggest to open, you know what? I think I have to open 3 screens just to be able to show you the answers and read the questions at the same time. So let me do that. I think it is better just to scroll down and scroll up too much. And I think I have to use this application. Okay. Absolutely, I have to show you the correct answer, but let me try to adjust my screen. Yes, I think this is really great. Okay, now let me go down to the answer just to show you the correct summarization about text A. Yeah, this one, where are the answers? Okay, no, it's not. No, it isn't. Ah, this is it. Okay, let me Um, okay, keep your summarization, please, because we have to. I'm going to show you all the summarization that in the 4 texts. Now let's scroll down to text B. Now I need to again try to summarize the information in text B, but let me zoom out because I know that I have to show you the full passage. So please now try to summarize text B.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Now let me try to show you text C, and absolutely we have to summarize it. So I want to show you the importance of skimming just to understand the main idea of every passage. So please try to summarize the most important information in one sentence with text C.
Okay.
Okay, now the final one, which is let me show you the table, the diagram, and please try to summarize the information only in one sentence.
Okay.
Okay, that's amazing. Now let me go up because I want to show you the answers, and I'm going to show you the correct summarization of the 4 passages. So these are the summarizations of the 4 passages. Text number 1 is saying medication options for patients with high blood pressure. So this is it. This is the summarization of text A. Now, please try to compare the summarizations that we have here with yours and try to check if you really got the main idea of every passage, or maybe you had a mistake. So this is the one sentence summary of text A. Now let me show you text B. And text B now is talking about advice to give patients with high blood pressure to control their condition. So this is it, controlling exactly the condition, which is high blood pressure. Now it is talking about advice, pieces of advice that are given to patients with high blood pressure. So
How can I know if my answers are correct?
did you write the summarizations?
Yes. For B, I wrote the recommendation for healthy lifestyle for patient with hypertension.
Yeah, it is the same. Recommendations, it's just like pieces of advice.
Okay, so it doesn't matter if I used different words. They don't.
No. Absolutely, you can use synonyms, antonyms. It's not. It must be the exact words, Joel. The main goal of this exercise is just to get the main idea of the passage. So the answer that you wrote is completely correct. Okay.
Okay, deal.
Now let me show you text C, and please now tell me your answer. Now, the summarization of text C is about symptoms of high blood pressure. So indicators, notice that indicators is another synonym of what? Symptoms. Exactly.
Yes. I wrote sign and symptoms shown in patient with hypertension.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. Exactly. So these are the indicators, the symptoms of high blood pressure. Exactly. Thank you so much. Now let me show you the table, which is D, and the summarization of this table is about systolic and diastolic levels of normal and abnormal blood pressure. This is it. Systolic, diastolic pressure, exactly. Normal, this is normal, and we have abnormal, which is normal thing, abnormal, if it is maybe low or maybe high, blood pressure.
Yes, I wrote the different normal and abnormal values for blood pressure.
This is it exactly. Values of normal and abnormal blood pressure. Okay?
Okay.
So this is it. This is the meaning of skin. Believe me, in doing so, Joel, you will get the main idea of the passage because sometimes you will be lost. You will not know about the texts because absolutely I have to know the topic. I have to know the main ideas of every passage. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, that's amazing. Now let's go to the next question. Okay, now the next question is saying, let's go up to text A. Now the question about text A is saying, look at text A again to find who has an increased risk of high blood pressure. Let me zoom in just to be able to see text A.
I can respond in a short sentence, right?
Yeah, yes, you can say it orally if you want, or you can write it down. I think you have to write it down. It's better. And because I need to match your answers with the correct ones that we have.
Okay.
So who has an increased risk of high blood pressure?
Black patients or African or Caribbean. Yes.
Ah,
Okay.
is that amazing? Is that your answer? Black
Yes, I
patient.
said black patient of African or Caribbean.
Exactly. That is it, because this is the correct answer. This is it. So black patient, thank you so much. And of African or Caribbean descent, exactly. This is the correct answer. Now let me show you the question number 3. Question number 3, we have to go down to text D, but not B, because the questions are not going to be in order. I mean, Joel, you don't have to answer question about text A, then question about text B, text C. It's not. The questions are not going to be in chronological order. Please keep this in your mind.
Okay.
Okay. Now the question is saying, let's take a look at text D to find which category of blood pressure. A, diastolic measure of 85 mm Hg would belong to. Would belong to whom?
It's pre-hypertension.
Yes, thank you. This is it. Exactly. So let me show you the correct answer. It's a pre-hypertension. Exactly. Now, the next question, let's go up to text B. I just want to show you that, again, the questions are not going to be in order, chronological order. Let me zoom out and let's read the question, which is saying, let's take a look at text B, and we have to find what type of exercise patients should do 2 times a week.
Moderate aerobic activities such as walking, cycling, swimming.
Is it the exercise
Okay.
that they have to do twice a week?
This one is twice.
Twice.
Strength exercise.
Bravo, twice a week is a keyword. I have to match it. So this is it. At least 2 days per week. What is this?
It's for including strength
Yes,
exercise.
thank you. Strength exercises, that is it. That's amazing. So this is strength exercises. Exactly. Now let me show you the next question, which is saying, let's take a look at text C. This is text C. And let me zoom in, wait. Okay, now this is text C, and the question is saying, look at text C to find what would happen if patients with high blood pressure made an effort to lower it. Wait, I think, this is it, I'm sorry, yes.
Reduction in the incidence of heart disease and stroke.
Okay, let me show it to you. This is it. Thank you so much. It would be a significant reduction. This is it. significant reduction in the incidence of heart disease and the stroke. Exactly, this is it. And this is the keyword that I have to look for, because absolutely, Joel, is not the exact words are going to be written, because absolutely the writer is going to show you synonyms, antonyms, definitions, or maybe some examples. So lower it is to make what some changes in their lifestyle, just to lower it exactly. Thank you so much. Now I think this is really amazing. So this is the meaning of skimming. This is exactly what you have to do in the beginning of answering part A, okay?
Yes.
If you want to say something.
So I'm not obliged to write big answers.
Joel, this question is not existed in the OET exam.
Okay.
This kind of a question, you have to do it in your mind. You have to do it fast.
Okay,
Again,
dear.
Please, because as I told you, this kind of a question is not existed, but just to show you the importance of skimming and just to tell you this is the exact way that I have to skim the passage, just to get the full idea about every passage, and at least I have to check the passages, the ideas that the passages are talking about, okay?
Okay, dear.
Okay, so in part A of the reading test, you need to answer questions using information in the texts as you have just done in this exercise. However, unlike the previous exercise, on the day of the exam, you will not be told which text to find the information. I mean, the texts are not going to be A, B, C, D like this. And as I told you, Joel, they are not mentioned, the questions aren't mentioned in order. You have to be careful because maybe the correct answer in question number 1 is going to be in the last passage. And maybe the last question is going to be in text, in the first text or text A. So please, it's not chronological order like some questions in the IELTS exam, okay? So you will not be told which text to find the information in, please. So you need to be prepared to scan, as I told you, skimming and scanning, please, all the 4 texts just to find the relevant information before you can complete the question. This is extremely important because, as I told you, Joel, 80% of the students have this problem of the 1 hour that is going to be finished without completing solving the 42 questions. Now, as I told you, the questions in this part of the test don't follow the chronological order, please. Each task in this part of the test absolutely operates in a different way, and each task will refer to all 4 texts. So before you scan, you have to skim. You should pay attention to the words in the question, as these could suggest which text you will find in the correct answer. Please, this is really important. You have to circle the correct keywords just to be able to skim because you don't have, as I told you, too much time to do that slowly. Okay, so for each question, you have to underline the most important words, the keywords. This is extremely important, as I told you, just to save your time. Now, the second mission we have to do is to is to identify or specify the type of the question that we have. Now, we have some types of the questions in part A. There are 4 possible tasks in part A. We have matching the information, we have writing the short answer, we have to complete a certain sentence, and we have to complete a certain note. So these are the types of questions you will encounter in part A. The first part will always be matching. So please be careful. And this task will always be followed by 2 of the other 3 tasks types. So this is why, as I told you, you will understand the text more and more while solving the questions. And absolutely, all the questions are going to be connected. In part A, the 20 questions will be split across 3 or 4 groups of questions. And these are the kinds of questions. So the question 6 to 25 on the following pages can be answered by referring to the 4 texts about the thyroid on page 71 and 72. Now, all the questions about our practice today is going to be about thyroid. Okay? Absolutely. I have to check the title. I have to understand the title just to check the texts, the ideas the texts are talking about. Okay. Now, let's talk about the first type of the questions, which is matching the questions or matching information. So this is the first task in part A. It is always a matching a question, and you have to identify which text contains the information. So you should always answer these kinds of questions first, as they will help you to gain an understanding of the content within each text. Some students, because they are better at writing the short answer, they start solving the short answer. Other students, they start completing the note first, then leaving matching the information at the end. Please don't do that, because just to have the full idea about the passage, you have to do matching the information first. As I told you, while answering the matching information first, you will gather the information about the passages and you will understand more about the passage. Please, you have to do it, which is the first task, should be done in the beginning of Part A exam. Now, to answer these questions, we have to look at the information given in this question. The questions will avoid repeating words and the phrases exactly as they appear in the text. So please, as I told you all the time, the writer is going to give you synonyms, antonyms, definitions, and examples. We are not grade 5 and 6 just for the writer to give us the exact words that are mentioned in the passage. So please be careful. So you will need to understand the meaning. And we have to find the information that I have to match in the passages. Now, the questions in this section ask you to identify which text contains a particular type of questions, informations, or maybe informations about a particular aspect of the condition or the issue in the conditional workplace. For example, a matching question may ask this question: which text provides information about identifying, for example, delirium in patients? This is the question. To answer these questions, you need to understand the general meaning of the 4 texts rather than the specific details. All the time, as I told you, Joel, the specific details is scanning. Right? So you don't have to scan in matching the information. You have to skim, please. You have to get the main idea about the passage, because you have to check the text, the information about the certain information. So please be careful, because if you want to do the opposite, you will lose your time. Okay, let's practice matching the information. Now, absolutely, we have passages, and we have to answer the questions from 6 to 11 using the 4 texts. So now I'm going to show you the 4 texts at once, and we have to answer these questions, and you should complete these questions in 3